Welcome back to another episode of Hard Reads, guys. It is me, TKbreezy, here with Austy, and our special guest today, my boss, VGB GiMR. No, what's going on, bro? It's going to be a good time. As I said, if you guys did not see the topics we're talking about, we'll be talking. The reason why we have GiMR here is because he can cover actually two of these topics very well. One of them being the Smash World Tour, and the other one being tournament cost. Just in general, seeing as I feel like there's some misconceptions about how much it costs to run a tournament and where that money goes, based off a couple tweets that I saw recently after a online tournament going on. And of course, our last subject, which was kind of hot on Twitter as well, was Goblin versus Mr.R. They'll be having a money match here at GoML, but there's reason behind that. But we'll get to that in the when the time comes to it. Either way, Austy, GiMR, how you guys doing?
Great.
Is that the basic pitch answer right there? We both just said great at the same time.
Some white people just great.
Yeah.
Everything's great over there, huh?
Yeah.
We don't tell the truth. We just good.
Everything's
on the
good.
outside. It's like wearing that mask with a sad face on the inside.
Jeez. So, all right, man. So, getting right into it, man. Smash World Tour, obviously, a really huge announcement coming in from VG Bootcamp. And something that obviously Smash players have wanted for a long time. So we have GiMR here to just answer a couple questions. Nothing crazy, but mostly just, how did the Smash World Tour become what it is now? Like, what made you want to be like, what made you take the step to making a tour?
Yeah, so obviously this is the next step, the direction the community wants to go in. We've been talking about it for 5 years. Like, right. Smash needs a circuit. We need something everyone can go to that leads to a final event with a final prize pool, etc. So I went full time in 2014, and I think the first talks, the whisperings of a circuit, came around in 2015, and just a lot of things were tried, a lot of things fell through, but nothing really came of it. And I was at SmashCon talking to Justin, the owner of SmashCon. And we just talked about it. We kind of got pumped up. We were like, yeah, let's do this. We need to do it. Obviously, it's not just me and Justin. Matthew Apostle's super involved with like the three main partners. And then there's a lot of other people that are deeply involved too. But, we took a try at it. Ultimates was really big in 2019. So it made it a lot easier to talk to people about it because, Smash is on the rise right now.
Right.
And it kind of just fit perfectly into place. So obviously we did a good job keeping a lid on it, because the worst thing that could happen is you start working on something, you start telling people about it, they start talking, and then it doesn't happen. And we really wanted to avoid that, and we didn't want to we just didn't want to get people's hopes up again. So we kept a really, really tight lid on it. Even to our core team, we were just really like, we cannot talk about this until it actually happens. And then as soon as we got a green lit, we started reaching out to events and stuff, and just announced. So we're really excited for it.
And as far as the events that are on there, like any event, is it finalized, or can other events still join if they want to opt in, or is that like?
Yeah, so at the silver level, anyone can opt in as long as they meet the requirements for melee singles or ultimate singles. Okay. And then at the platinum and gold level, we are working with a few more events, but I can't really say anything until we get it finalized.
Right. Okay. Well, that's cool though that you guys are letting anyone, if they, we have this many entrants, we realize that we made it to the silver level, we want to be part of the tour. So that's dope. As if you guys didn't know the breakdown, there's levels to the tournaments. You have the platinums, you have the golds and the silvers and whatnot like that. So silvers will be mostly like regionals and stuff, and obviously the platinums will be like the bigger tournaments, the Smash Cons, the Genesis and stuff like that. So it's really dope. And where is the finals happening?
Can't tell you yet.
Oh, yeah.
Still a mystery.
So not Xanadu. That's all we.
Yes, not.
That's just happening at Maryland.
It's just in our World Tour finals. Laurel. Got me again. In VG. So yeah, man. It is cool that you guys, as I said, it's cool that you guys have been able to make it, make this a thing. As you had alluded, there has been talks of other tours for a long time.
Forever.
Like, oh man,
forever.
We have this going on, but then it doesn't happen. And then but this time, you guys waited. No one said anything. No one knew what was going on VG, and then bam, fat announcement. We got a tour. Yeah. So
I mean, it's a lot of work. So I understand why certain things, in the past haven't happened. And like a lot of trust is involved. because you got to get a bunch of events to sign on,
Right.
So I think like the team combo of VG Bootcamp and SmashCon really help with that, because obviously, like with VG Bootcamp's history, everyone knows that we have the best interests of the community in mind. And with SmashCon, obviously they know what they're doing. They run a 10,000 person event every year.
Right.
And we just have all the right pieces in place and the right people involved.
Right.
That's really cool. The one thing that I enjoyed about the announcement was looking through the circuit. I actually talked to you about this, GiMR, is that to be a silver tier, you just got to apply, but that could literally like be a weekly local.
Yeah.
Like a tournament on a Wednesday or a Tuesday could be part of the circuit, and you can get points for that. And honestly, that's a really
hype Xanadu could probably end up hitting gold.
I mean, man, the grind,
with the right people.
The grind hits 120 people every week, so like they could get the top of the silver tier.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see like a little bit of love given back to the weeklies, because a lot of top players prefer to just stay home and stream, which granted, that's the good thing to do. That's how you make the most money, and that's how you build your brand. But like, there's been like a little bit of a disconnect from the weeklies, and this might re-energize them to not go every single time, but go a little bit more often just to get those points, because you can't just farm silver tiers. You have to have you can take your 6 best scores. Is that what it is?
It's your 6 best scores. Yeah. So basically, I'm actually really excited about the point system. We took a note from Tekken World Tour, obviously.
It's based off the tennis thing too.
Yeah, when we came off this. So a lot of complaints we've seen this past year is, one, people complaining, I can't go to enough events, so I'm getting punished for it. And then other people saying, I go to too many events and I'm getting punished for it. Mm-hmm. So with this point structure, it basically says you can go to as many events as you want and you will not get penalized for it, but also you cannot farm events. You can't just say, I'm rich and I went to every event and I made top 31 because of it. And that's why we did it that way. And then obviously with the silver tier, this thing is all about unification. So we really want everyone to be able to be a part of it. And I think every like FGC tour has done the same thing, but I just think that locals for Smash are just a different beast. Not just locals, but regionals. It's like people are so passionate about it. Like they're so happy to be able to put their event on the tour. And we're just glad that we were able to give that to them.
Yeah.
Did you have any issues with people like not wanting to be a part of the tour? Did you ever ask anyone? They were like, "Nah, I'm good."
We reached out to a lot of people, and some did decline.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is. Like, sometimes you win some, lose some. I feel like some people are probably a little skeptical, obviously, about.
Well, yeah, because to be fair, this has been attempted multiple times.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of skepticism.
Part about it is that like there's another tour that was not really a tour. There was another circuit that was being announced, but then that company has kind of since left. So like, so like, it's like the times, I guess the trust is there with VG, right? Because long-standing or whatever, but I'm still, some people are a little skeptical, and like that is fair. But I think with the way, as long as this tour runs well, then if you guys decide to do a Smash World Tour too, then I think that most people will be like, all right, VG had the best interests at heart. And I mean, seeing that we have been grassroots forever, I don't really see how anyone can see it any other way. Like VG has always been a very grassroots organization, and it just shows. Like we everything that we do ends up being like for the betterment of the community. So really
definitely. And like, I mean, I understand too. I mean, a lot of time has gone by, so our big blow up was in early 2014, so it's been 6 years. There's a lot of new players coming in that don't know our history, and this is something me and Matt have actually talked about. Like, we like to stay professional and stay silent and not really gloat or like talk about ourselves. We just work. We put a lot of our time, resources into working, but we might need to like get out there a little bit more and just let people know what we're doing and all the hard work we're putting in. Because since we stay so silent and just work, it kind of gets lost sometimes, and people forget, or new people come into the scene, like with Ultimate, and they don't understand the past and how like VG Bootcamp had a huge role in building this scene.
Yeah. So guys, that's Smash World Tour. If you guys have not seen enough about it, there's a full video on it. Honestly, if you check the VG Bootcamp's YouTube, although I think I could probably just link it in the chat. go ahead and slide over to our next subject, which happens to be, we're talking about tournament costs or tournaments anyway, so we can talk about tournament costs. And on top of that, we have the one of the runners of one of the largest tournaments on the East Coast, which is Pound. So without throwing out too many crazy numbers, let's just talk about maybe last year's Pound.
Yeah.
So let's go.
I'm actually very happy that this is finally starting to get talked about. At the end of every event that we stream, I try to get the TO on the mic to give them a face, because I feel like I'm blessed because of my position and how everyone loves me for what I've done for the scene, where people just give me no, it's true though.
It's true though.
They're always giving me the benefit of the doubt. They're always shouting me out. A lot of these TOs don't get that, and like the risk that they're taking, like you can budget something out and you got to predict how many people are coming. Like that's what you do. You have to say, I think this is how many people are going to come. This is going to be the average venue fee. I need to base my budget on that. And you got to, like, if you're with a hotel, you got to sign that contract before you open registration, because people are going to start booking their travel, etc. So you can't just open it without a hotel contract, because you could lose that contract and then your whole TO career is ruined right there. So a lot of these TOs,
life in general.
Yeah. A lot of these TOs, every TO takes a huge risk. And I mean, I could give you some Pound numbers.
Yeah, I'm definitely down to hear some.
I could just say the total cost. I could just say the total cost for last year's Pound. Let me see if I can find this. Yeah. So last year's Pound, the expenses for the event were upwards of $100,000. The one thing though that we are blessed with at Xanadu is that because we are in the venue and we have a relationship with the track, we can adjust the budget as time goes by. It's a lot easier. It's a lot more flexible. There's a lot less risk involved, although that is a lot of risk, clearly. But for things like, Double Down and Apex, which we're funding, those are way riskier. And, we just had to say we're doing it. And we had to make guesses on how many people we thought were going to come and form the budget around that. But we'll be fine regardless. We do a pretty good job at budgeting, so I'm not too worried about it. But definitely go support those events. Double Down registration opens on Friday.
Now, if I heard that correctly, you did say 100,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
For a venue that you work with a lot,
right? So this is even in the venue that we I guess own or whatever. Still 100,000.
Yeah, and there's a lot of expenses we didn't have to pay because we're partners with the venue. Now, I will say this, because we had this partnership, we were able to pay for extra things because we're like, hey, look, our budget opened up. I mean, we do want to profit off our events, but right now, a lot of the time, we if the budget opens up, we try to add stuff. Like, for example, at Pound last year, at the very last second, we added that after party, which didn't go too well because it was an after party and people didn't know about it. But the budget opened up, so we said, all right, let's throw an after party, even though it's like a week out. Let's make it happen. Things like that.
Yeah. So, all right. So that means that because you guys have partnerships, that means like you're even on the lower end of tournament costs. So that means like a regular tournament could potentially be twice as much.
Well, dude, Goblin said it costs $200K.
Yeah, I was just
what the heck?
I heard about that. Like, I don't know what it's like in Toronto, but that's wild.
And this is what I'm talking about. A lot of these TOs do not and TOs get it the worst. Any slight complaint that's echoed by a top player just gets destroyed. The TOs. And obviously, when you're restless and you're tired from working a hard weekend, you're a little more emotional. So a lot of times TOs don't respond correctly because they're so exhausted and they feel so not appreciated. Sometimes they lash out a bit because they didn't sleep for 5 days straight, and now they got someone going, hey, it's a little hot in the venue. Well, not that, or someone just attacks them. Sometimes they lash out a bit, but you guys gotta understand, TOs are humans just like everyone else. And after a 3-day weekend of barely sleeping and then and risking your entire livelihood on the event to have someone come at you, it could be hard. It'd be hard to deal with.
Yeah. Wasn't there that TO that sold their house over an event because it didn't do as well as it did. Wasn't it like tipped off 12 or something?
I've heard something like that. It's just a rumor. I don't know how true it is.
Yeah, I have to look into it, but I did hear something about that as well.
Yeah,
either way, man, like tournaments obviously are super expensive. I saw the reason why we even talking about this because I saw this very head ass tweet, and I'm gonna call him out. I saw the very head ass tweet from Pandarian, and like, I mean,
he's 16.
He's made a couple head ass tweets lately, but he's young. But I'm still gonna call it like it is. He made that one tweet about being sick and then still trying to travel when it's like he was like super sick, and that was like right around the time the coronavirus started getting started getting some news. It wasn't like anything crazy, but it was like, oh, there might be an outbreak of this new virus in China, and everyone's like, yeah, it's cool. And now it's seeped its way over to America. So like, I'm not saying that he had it, obviously, but that level of recklessness, not caring about other people's health is like very annoying. Over the fact
he's got that
it's nest here. It's like, oh wow,
he's got that teenage energy, man. Like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put, like, if I ever got sick, you think I might not even go to an event I'm supposed to work?
Yeah, bro.
Somebody else out. Like, I got like I got 8 hours of total bandwidth daily right now as I get older. You know what I'm saying? I'm working like, and every year it slowly goes down how much mental energy I'm able to have every day.
Yeah,
but yeah,
the tweet that I was talking about wasn't that one. It was about obviously it was one of them. But he made a tweet about like, so I don't know if you guys knew, but over this weekend there was a 20K online tournament. Now, of course, online sucks. Whatever, like everyone dealt with it. Whatever, right? But I don't think there was any money on entering. I think you just had to enter. So a lot of top players enter. I think Cola ended up winning that, and that was great. But you also saw Nairo in it, and you saw Samsor in it. DeBuzz was in it. Void was in it. Some great stuff right there. So it was a 20K pop bonus, which is a really good pop bonus for sure. After it, a lot of people, some people were thankful, like, oh, thanks. He didn't have to do that. He definitely didn't have to do it. Big shouts to Critical. But after there were some tweets that were along the line of, well, if you were going to spend 20K, then why not invest that 20K into making a big tournament? Because 20K doesn't equal a big tournament. That's why I don't even think you can make a local. I don't think you can start up a local with 20K at that point in time. Like, people just don't understand like money. Like, I get that Smash community is broke for sure, but the cost of a tournament like very much exceeds the level of there's sponsors and stuff, so people kind of pull together and whatnot, and that's why tournaments can get as big as they are. But 20K in the grand scheme of things, after we're talking about GiMR having the venue, still have to pay 100K, finding out that that Gamo was 200K. I think that Shine said they were 200K. Come on, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah, and you gotta really show some love to the people that hold these events in these ridiculous. I know I'm going to get some heat for this, but these venues that have ridiculous union rules, like, and I know when someone hears the word union, they're thinking of back in the 1920s when people were literally like burned to death because the business didn't have proper fire exits and stuff. Like, so they made unions to force certain rules. That's what they think of when they think of union. But there are a lot of AV unions that have, because the state is on their side, unchecked power leads to ridiculous things where, like, you have to pay $100 an hour for someone to help you set up, and they have to help you set up, and they have to do a minimum of 4 hours. So if someone sets up, let's say 10 feet of pipe and drape, which takes about 20 minutes, they're getting paid $400, right? So it's a system that was put in place to protect people, but in some areas it's kind of, it's in capitalist society with capitalism, like, if you have all that power, you're going to take advantage of it. And like, hotels, I've worked with hotels that do this, and they try, they do their best to lower the cost wherever possible, but you end up being in a situation where you're paying $60K for AV for like a very basic setup.
Yeah, I was gonna comment about how expensive it is just to set up internet, like just to make sure the venue has internet so you can stream, because again, you have to hire people.
Yeah, and the prices for internet are like ridiculous at venues, but you have to think about the fact that like they probably pay because they're like a convention center or whatever. Like, let's say they like go, oh, you want to stream, you got to pay $10K for internet. That number sounds ridiculous, and it kind of is, because it's just bandwidth, but they're probably getting like taken advantage of by the ISP because they're a huge convention center. They're probably paying a ridiculous amount a month. And then also they have to have a network staff always there, like that are being paid salaries. And their job is just to bring the line down, make the IPs right, all that. It's very simple at the event level. So you're like, why am I paying so much? But, if they're paying $100K a month for internet, like they got to make their money back, even if it's not being used. I don't know if 100K is the right number, but.
And that's not even like excluding, all the other things you have to pay for. You have to pay your staff. You pay the commentators. You pay the security, which has been a very big issue for a lot of tournaments that has now popped up. People want 24-hour venues. So you have to pay for overnight security, which actually ends up being more than regular security. But also you have to pay the venue extra to even be open for 24 hours, depending on what venue it is. So, I mean, there's a lot of costs. I think there's a lot of costs that people just don't really like think about until it's not there. Like if we didn't pay for security, damn well all those security, I walked straight in and no one even checked me. All those tweets will come out. So
the reason TOs aren't that transparent about it is because let's say you're just having you're not profiting year after year. If you eventually start making good money, people will attack you for that too. So they don't want to bring it up because they're like, yeah, I had all these expenses, but now my event makes 500,000 and I'm netting 200K a year. People are going to be mad at me for that now because for some reason event organizers just aren't allowed to live.
God forbid you make money doing what you love.
Man. You honestly can't, in this community, money is almost taboo. I'm one of the top commentators and I make money from it. But even then I still feel weird talking about it because then I feel like, I'm getting judged. Yeah. And it's not for the merit of my work or the fact that I've worked for so long. It's just oh, he's making money. He must only be about the money. You think that I was going to work 8 years straight to finally make this money? Nah, I'm good, bro.
It's a passion project that we hope to get money from. And if not, we had fun along the way. But now we're in that position where you can't get it.
On top of that, and the funny part is it's way better than it used to be. Back in the day, when I was getting 50 viewers on my streams, I had people call me out. They're like, we heard that you asked for more money than it costs for you to stream. Remember back then you couldn't even make money off streaming. So it's just I can't believe you wanted to do more than break even. People would actually have that attitude. I understand why Smash community dealt with a lot of BS and they're always very protective, but it's just nowadays, at least we're allowed to profit without people giving us crap for it.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, we can do it now. I mean, but still, I know there's that taboo still. There is, I've gotten some pretty big paychecks from certain events, and I've also got very small paychecks where I feel like I should have got more. But at the end of the day, I'm still doing what I want to do. So I'm just I just like to try to stay as close to my rate as possible. And if I can do that for a while, then sick. And if I can't do that, I still enjoyed all the commentary that I was able to lay down, all the history that I was part of for this very passionate group of people.
Yep. And plus, I personally believe that Smash has some of the best commentators in all of esports. I truly believe this because we're not cookie cutter. And our people are actually very entertaining. Now, I'm not going to pretend I follow other esports super deeply, but from the stuff I've seen, and this is no offense to other commentators, just our guys are so just energetic and funny, very good on the fly. So it's definitely going to open doors, I think, for a lot of people too, down the road. I mean, I honestly could see you, Phil, and Coney actually having an ESPN-esque show, even if you talked about sports, and just your guys' dynamic would be so entertaining. People would love it, even if you guys had no idea what you were talking.
Well, that's EE all the time. So
yeah, I just say. I didn't want to say it, man. Come on.
Oh man, no, I feel that though, and I don't think that. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say the best, but I feel like we have more stars, if you will. I do follow other esports, but I feel like I'm listening to the same person regardless of who's up there all the time. So it's the same 3 dudes, and it could be 30 dudes, but just listening to them, they all sound the same. It's they all went to a school where you you are supposed to commentate this way and only this way. And that's the one real thing I like about Smash is that like everyone has their own style. Like, well, the top at least has their own style, and then you have a couple people that are trying to replicate the top because they feel like that's how you're supposed to get there, but that's not true. So, like, everyone has their own style. Like, if you watch enough Smash, basically you can listen to commentary for about 10 seconds and realize who is who, if both of them say a 5-second sentence. And I like that. While I feel like I can't actually do that in other esports, like I'll watch a shit ton of League now that I'm playing again. And I don't know those people by name, but I'm not saying their commentary is bad. I just don't feel connected to them as people as much as I feel like people connect with us commentators in Smash right now.
Yeah, and that's actually like I think that has a lot to do with grassroots too, because I know that like this isn't every esport, but when like someone makes a game that they want to be an esport, like that's part of the reason they made it, and they set up a league in advance and like start paying talent to be commentators and stuff, they actually bring them to a camp and do media training and tell, like, that's why they all sound the same, because they're all being told by the exact same person how to commentate.
Yeah. That would annoy the shit out of me. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I like my style, and also like I've worked in the fact that like I do stutter because I speak fast and sometimes like I stumble over words, but I've pretty much just worked that into my like style, so people got used to it, and I say good shit, and that's all that matters. I've noticed that Dark Horse said he would like to see a Smash commentator with play-by-play skills like the League guys. There was two. Resliff had a really good play-by-play, and so did what's his name? He's from the West Coast, Asian dude. He used to work with Nursemaid a lot. Sedgehog. There we go. Sedgehog has really good play-by-play as well. But I think the way that Smash is, because most people who watch it are like diehard Smash fans, that play-by-play kind of loses its meaning. Like, I do slight play-by-play for like top 8s and stuff, because during top 8, obviously everyone's watching. Some people don't even know what they're watching, so you have to, explain the game a little more. But in my opinion, like, I feel like whenever I'm reading chats, most people get mad when someone's doing only play-by-play, because they're like, I can see. And to an extent, I get it. You can definitely see.
There are some people that can't.
But some people can't. So, like,
yeah.
like you have to at least set the mood for them. And that's why usually, like, when you listen to me, like, if nothing is going on, I'll bring up the clock, I'll bring up the percentages, I'll bring up, stock counts, and I'll bring up like stage positioning until something happens. But it's just like, it's a weird complaint, but I definitely still see where it's see.
And honestly, like, I mean, this is kind of one of the reasons I think Smash has the potential to be a tier 1 esport. Smash is pretty easy to follow too, because it's like just you're hitting the person and getting them off stage and trying to stop them from getting back on stage. Like, it's like anyone could watch a Smash tournament without commentary, and within 5 minutes, if they were paying attention, they'd understand the concept of the game.
Yeah.
Right. Which means very accessible. So to play into that play-by-play, although is good, it's just like, it isn't, I mean, this is just personal opinion, it's just not as necessary, but it is good filler, because like,
it's great filler.
How are you gonna, like, how much can you talk about? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
sometimes some matchups are just really slow. Like Pac-Man versus Sonic is going to be a very slow matchup. You can not only talk about him throwing down that hydrant, but 400 times.
Yeah.
So, but another note that Dark Horse has made, which is a note that I've actually set up quite a bit, but he says a lot of Smash commentators could use some training in the aspects of jobs aside from in-game stuff, and I 100% feel that, because I feel like there are a lot of Smash commentators out there who think that they're like top 5 because they can talk about the game well, but they can't do anything else well. And that's a big part of it. Like, if you're every time you're sitting on camera and you're welcome back to Smash, whatever. It doesn't look good, you know what I'm saying? And people can't chill, they can't do any of that shit. And I'm like, it's great that you can speak about this game, but when it comes back to the camera being on you, and you can't fill, or you can't throw to break, or you can't throw to bracket or commentate or the MC, and you're like always bad at that stuff or anything it has to do without the game, then to me, you're a bad commentator. Like, I think that you are a great analyst and you should just do YouTube videos, but you are a bad commentator because you can't do all the camera work. and that's important. I still think I have to work on my camera work sometimes because it took me a long time to like still just look in the camera all the time. Like I used to never look in the camera. But they're like, even at my level where I feel like I have work to do, there are people way worse than me who think that like, oh man, like I'm one away. You're so far away. Like
I'll tell you this,
so far away.
I'll never be a good commentator for at least the one fact that I am not a good multitasker, and I feel like you got to be able to talk while looking at the camera and listening to somebody in your ear and not lose your train of thought. I couldn't do that. I'd just be stumbling over my words immediately.
Yep. And it's not always the greatest too. Vince had a really good way of like kind of just sliding the word in there. He'd be like slides, and like that's it. But when we were at Thunder, the other guy, he was coming over that mic, dude. We would be in the middle, like, all right, man, that was a great play. And then he would just, we're going to slides, guys. We're going to slides.
We're going to slides. We're going to slides in 5, 4, 3, and it's just like, what? God.
And I was like, bro,
But the crazy part is, I feel like the really good like football commentators and stuff have learned to deal with that because they've probably dealt like after like 30, 40 years of experience, they're just like they could be like standing in front of an orchestra, like loud as hell, and still just be like, so yeah, on to the next part with
It took a little while to get in there.
Yeah, and commentators also like, like what happens when you don't have gameplay for 20 minutes? Like there's like a stall in the bracket. Like a lot of people don't know how to stall for 20 minutes. A lot of people just kind of like crumble and just.
I mean, if we have to stall for 20 minutes, I just ask for a break. That's too much stalling. Like if we're like running through bracket and then out of nowhere there's a lull in the bracket, then let's just take a break. Like, I mean, I don't want to sit here and talk about what happened for the last 30 minutes and then finally get another match. Let's just take a break. But I get what you're saying. Sometimes you're not, we don't have that power to be like, hey, looks like nothing's going on, so can I take a break? So you just have to learn how to feel, and I get that.
So you guys remember, I think it was Genesis 4 when they had the Friday, they had the cruise stuff and they floated people. And there was a point, remember like it was the last year that Genesis did cruise because just a lot of players didn't want to do it. And it was hard to find them and stuff.
Oh, I think I vaguely remember.
Yeah,
that.
There was one point where Blur and I think Alan had to do an hour of. It was horrible. I felt so bad for them. An hour of just my God. They were just going and going and going, and like I know. I mean, Blur could talk.
They're filibustering the tournament, like
Blur is ultimate Phil, bro. Like. Yeah, everyone's saying the same thing in the chat. Yeah, Blur loves talking, so probably no issue. All right, guys. So we've got through the tournament calls. Now you got that. We got the Smash 4 tour. If you're coming in a little late, then it's at the beginning, but this will also always go up on Apple for podcasts, goes on Spotify for podcasts, and also goes on my YouTube, so that you can watch the video version if you would like. Although more importantly is definitely the podcast. We like to get those numbers going to to our I guess our sponsors and whatnot, so they know that we're making good work here, good time here. But we're on to our last topic now. If you have been paying attention to Twitter, you probably saw it yourself, but there's been a little bit of a spat between Goblin and Mr.R. I think that, what are they, 42 and 44 on the, or is it 44 and 46? Something like that.
Yeah.
On the PGR. Either way, Goblin, I guess, has kind of been going at, well, Mr.R was kind of going out and he was saying basically like, he would probably be in a better spot, or it's frustrating that he can't go out to more events. And then there's all these other people who think they're like better than him based off of like the PGR because there are a lot of farm events when he can't go and farm events. And then Goblin, answered him back and was basically like, I am better than you. And so now they're going to money match at Gommel over this here spat. I'm gonna go find it real quick because it was
talking about media training. We got a lot of young top players coming up. I think we need to like have a sit down talk with some of these guys, because obviously they'll probably be like, GiMR doesn't know what he's talking about. Hearing me say this now, but when you get older, like you start to regret some of the things you say. You're so openly willing to say publicly and like stuff like that, and sometimes you just wish you didn't. You just stayed more silent. I think a lot of these guys are gonna maybe later wish they were a little more just professional online, etc., and how they're representing themselves. But for this spat specifically, I can't wait to see this match because they were not holding punches.
I didn't even know Money Match was happening based off of it. I didn't know that happened. It escalated to that.
Their Money Match for I think off 150 at Goblin. So
man, we got the Smash World Tour money. Let's make it 1,000. You know, like what?
Okay, buddy. Anyway, here it is. So, barely scraped top 50, bro. You're only 2 spots above me on the PGR. What are you saying? You also entered 3 more S tiers that season and way more ABC tiers.
This is Mr. R, right?
Live in the US. Yes, right. Those wins got to your head for real. And so, by comparison, Mr. R got 13th at Evo, and Goblin did not go to Evo, but he got 97th at SmashCon, and Goblin got 129th. So yeah, he outplaced them with 1 placing. But they're still bad placing, you know.
Yeah, it's like nothing you really want to talk about.
Like, who cares, right? But then on the other, situation, you have Goblin, who got 17th at Shine, 33rd at, I think this, I can't really tell what that is, but 49th at the Big House, and then 13th at Congo Saga. So, like, obviously, he's been able to go to more things. Like, he's in the US, he gets the chance to go to more things. And good for him. Like, no one's telling you not to go to more stuff. But you do have to factor that in, that, yeah, man, like, I think that if you only went to the same events as Mr. R, you wouldn't even be on the PGR. Like, that's probably just facts right there. So I don't know, man. Like, it's, as you said, I feel like a lot of these young people are, and maybe because we're, we've known Mr. R forever, so I have like a little more like respect for Mr. R because I've known him to be a top player in multiple games. Mm-hmm. But the young people coming in for Ultimate, definitely, like, you don't need to show respect like that. And you don't have to be like, worship these people, but like, y'all really gotta, I feel like there's too much pride at these lower level, or at these younger kids. But then at the same time, the pride almost doesn't mean anything, because like, what is it? Who even cares? Why are we fighting about who's 40th and 50th?
You're both PGR? Top 50. Like,
yeah. Like,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think it just has to do with context. Like, younger kids come in, they don't know the context and the overarching history of the Smash community. So, they see someone say something and they see it as offensive to them. They just go at them. It just depends. I mean, not like, obviously most young people aren't doing this, or all of Smash Twitter would just be exploding with rivalries and hate. But like, I think like a lot of any community, I feel like, goes through this eventually. Like, I mean, I'm not going to pretend I follow rap super hard, but a lot of the OGs feel like they're not being respected for laying out the groundwork and the structure for the new kids. And the new kids are just like, F you, haha.
New generation too, like we weren't, Brawl and Melee weren't on like social media, like we were on Smash boards. And now it's like, it's a whole new world where people can just throw their thoughts into the wind. So
Mewtwo King can tweet period and get 3,000 likes.
Yeah, like it's Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any more tweets between them, because they spend a lot of time quote tweeting each other, but not actually like.
And people were talking about it too, because I think Meru jumped on it too, where they were just talking about like EU versus NA, like just like it was EU versus Florida. That's what it was.
Honestly, this thread wasn't actually that bad.
Oh no, it wasn't that bad. It was just interesting to see like the context behind this money match is basically like, you're old, so like you're old and you can't, and I'm better than you because I can grind. And then he's like, okay, but y'all just sleeping on me because I don't live in the US. And they're like, money match, and it's like, money match. Yeah. So that's gonna happen. Right. I think me and E are supposed to commentate it. I know I saw a couple of talks of the EU players talking about something. We got to get an EU commentator over here, and I don't necessarily think that's true. Mr. R has basically been part of our squad.
Everyone loves Mr. R.
Yeah. So like, it's not like we're like, oh yeah, fuck Mr. R, go Goblin. I'm definitely team Mr. R. Now Mr. Or EE was probably going to be Goblin's. He's probably going to commentate for Goblin because he just likes that goon shit, and I don't. I'm not with that shit. So we'll have enough banter between just us, as I'm like going for Mr. R and he's going for Goblin. If that happens. But I'm not saying I wouldn't want to see an EU commentator. We just got finished talking about tournament costs. It's really hard to fly people overseas, man. Like I got overseas a couple of times, but never for Smash. It's always for Brawlhalla. So yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
I just want to see a game 5. If it's first to 5, I don't know if it's first to 10 or not, but I want it to be last hit, because it'll make the pop off even better.
Yeah. Also, some of Goblin's like shit talk was, he said, I was referring to all Brawl players, not just Mr. R, because honestly most of y'all ain't got the same heat y'all packed back in, which is kind of true, I guess. I mean,
for some
For some, like Nairo's still popping off. Esam's been doing quite well. MVD's like a hit or miss, you know.
Mewtwo King.
Well, Mewtwo King sucks now. I
don't know if he, man. He's getting older. I don't know if he has the ability to be as passionate about stuff like this. I mean, this is something I personally been dealing with. Like, the older I get, the harder it is for me to be passionate about competitive stuff, because the amount of time you really have to put into it to actually get good is just...
It's so easy when you're young, dude. It's so easy.
It's definitely... I mean, in high school, I was playing 6 hours of Melee a day. Nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at this thing basically. So yeah, as I said, he said after that, he was like 10 plus year pro Smash Fed, flexing about being 2 places below a first year traveling new gen PogChamp. You did it, but I feel like that serves Ramen's point again of being 2 spots lower with having drastically less tournaments under his belt. I don't know, man.
Twitter ran on, and when you're Twitter beefing, you just gotta try to keep hitting them with one-liners and gotchas. That's how you win.
Yeah, that's how whoever gets the most impressions, man. Like, that's what it is.
It really is, bro. Whoever gets the most likes won that argument.
Logic.
Kind of like threw that one in there.
Yeah.
So I think is it going to be Crown versus Roy, or is he?
I would love that. He can play whoever he wants, I'm pretty sure, but like that's what I would assume. But I would love to see Crown versus Roy.
Yeah, because if he does, I think Crown versus Roy would. I mean, that would probably be that one would make the most sense to me, as far as like, we're really testing our might by playing whatever. But he also has a snake, and if he really wants to, he can pull out the Sheik too. And I don't know if Goblin has these secondaries or not, but his Roy probably doesn't really need any. He's been kind of like the only Roy really doing it right now.
He messed with Toon Link for a while, but like not anything seriously.
Or Cola. He plays Young Link too.
Toon Link, but like not seriously. Just like he's busted him out in tournament at a local before. So nothing special.
Either way, man, if you guys want to watch that money match, it will be going on at GiMR. We don't have a set time yet. I think they're still working out the logistics of that. But Mr.R will be at GiMR, and Goblin will be at GiMR, and I will be at GiMR to commentate said match. Mr.R plays Young Link. Oh, okay, true. So yeah, man, it should be a good time. I'm definitely looking forward to GiMR, but I'm looking forward even more to GiMR now that this money match is going on. Mr.R loses. I feel like he has to retire. Basically, that's the
no, dude.
He has to retire, man. Like, because everything that Goblin said is true. Like, oh, you old heads ain't got it no more, right? And then you just lose this like 1st to 5 or 1st to 10, especially if it's like a blowout. You know what I mean? Like,
bro,
it can't be a blowout right now. 5-1.
It cannot be a blowout.
Knowing Mr.R, there is no way he would quit even if he got 10-0.
Oh,
he would
for sure.
He'd be like, all right, rematch. And then he'd study it and come back and slap him off.
Yeah. Rematch in like 2 months,
Like, study every single little habit.
But I mean, just if you're going to side bet, though, who y'all betting on?
Mr.R.
I'll just say Mr.R.
I think it's very close. I think it's insanely close, but I'm gonna put it on Mr.R.
Yeah.
I do think it could go either way, though.
Yeah. I think that was the other thing that a lot of people are brought up too, just as a last point, is that we're old now and we don't have time to devote to this. When I was 17, 18, like I just I played Melee all the time because I finished my homework and had nothing else to do. You know what I'm saying? So there it is. Just turn on that GameCube, we're in there. And then when Brawl came out, did the same thing. But now that I'm older and I have responsibilities and stuff, like I have to pay all my own bills in my own house, like. I have to, I have to grocery shop for myself. I have to eat for myself, all that good stuff. Like, you don't have as much time to just sit and devote to Smash. Like, if I were to play Smash in all my free time, then I don't even think I would be able to get to the point of playing the actual game. I would spend all my time in the lab. Like, a lot of these people, a lot of the young kids now will spend like 5 hours in the lab and then go play. If I spend 5 hours in the lab, that's the stream or that's the day. Like, I'm not going to go play anybody. It's done. You know what I mean? So it's just different. And I think I don't know. It's really a head ass thing to think about. But I'm sure that once Goblin turns like 28, he'll think back on this and be like, yeah, it is really hard.
Back when like Smash 7 duplexes. I don't know.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I've gotten to the point. So like a year into Smash 4, I kept trying to get back into it. And then before Ultimate came out, I like told myself this will be finally the time I actually get back into it. I've actually accepted it now. Like that little yearning to get competitive again, I suppress it because I know it's gonna be like a week-long thing where I try for a little bit and then I realize it's not possible. I don't have enough time, and then I feel I'm like I wasted my time practicing.
My buy list was definitely popping off for like a solid week, and now I'm just kind of like, well,
it's over.
Yeah. Well, like I go to my local and win doubles with my friend Sam, and then I
good character.
So,
quit at your peak.
Great character.
Always quit at your peak.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, we've been talking. Well, actually, this is a way longer episode than usual. So I know we're getting to this point where people want hour episodes and stuff. Sometimes we don't have enough to talk about for a straight hour, but we'll talk until I feel like we've went over the topics well enough. So guys, Smash World Tour, definitely follow that. More news will be coming soon. It's gonna be all throughout this year. Tournament calls, we've talked about that as well, so you can go back and watch that. And of course, Goblin versus Mr.R. If you want to see that money match, it will be at Gommel. So that being said, any final words from you guys?
I got nothing. No.
Thanks for having me on.
All right. Well, yeah, man. So every week, this podcast is every week at on Wednesday at 6 p.m. EST. So do your math accordingly. If you're on the West Coast, it's 3 p.m. We talk about whatever subjects come up throughout the week. Usually, if there's a tournament on the end of the week, we'll talk about that. So next week, we'll most likely talk about some of the CEO Dreamland stuff and anything that happens between now and then. If you did not get to catch the entire thing, obviously the VODs are here. However, you can also go and catch it on my YouTube very shortly. You'll be able to catch it in podcast form on Apple and Spotify. So definitely click those links when you get a chance to see them. They will be tweeted out by me, Austy, and most likely the prediction channel as well. Make sure you hit a follow button here if you guys would like it, so you can keep up with all the times that we do this. Again, it's every Wednesday. And of course, if you really, really like the content and want to support prediction, hit that sub button. But until then, I'm TKbreezy. This is GiMR. That's Austy. Have a good night.
Peace.